Hey everyone, this is Kathy of CornerstoneConfessions.com, and today I'm going to give you an inside look at some of the curriculum we're going to be using this year in our homeschool. Up first is Who is God? From What We Believe series put out by Apologia. There are 10 lessons in the book, and they are divided up to be used. Each lesson is divided up to be used over a 2-week period. So this is a sample lesson plan. Week 1 takes 3 days and week 2 takes 3 days, and that gets you through lesson 1. In the series, there's Bible verses, there's key ideas, there's fictional stories as well as nonfiction stories to kind of go along with the theme. The themes in this particular book are: where am I building my life? How can I know what's true? What is God like? Who are the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? If God created the world, why isn't it perfect? Why did God create me? Will God meet all my needs? And why does sin keep me from knowing God? And is Jesus the only way to God? So there are actually 4 books in this series, but this is the first one. And we are also using the notebooking journals to go with it. This is the junior notebooking journal, which is being used by my 7-year-old. And there's lots of spaces for them to take notes, to practice their handwriting, copying their Bible verses, drawing pictures. There's even lesson plans at the beginning. So it tells you what to read in the textbook that I showed you earlier, as well as what to complete in the journal each day. And they have divided it up so that it takes 54 days to complete using this lesson plan. The lesson plans for the combined notebooking journal and textbook are only included in the journals. So here is the regular notebooking journal, which is going to be used by my 9-year-old. And again, lots of places to write your notes, a few crossword puzzles and word searches. There's also book suggestions and songs and websites that are mentioned in both the junior book and the junior notebook and the regular notebook. And again, they have the lesson plans written out for 54 days at the very beginning. Do you need the junior notebook and the regular notebook? If you have both kids, you probably could get by with just a regular notebook and just select and choose, but I do like each kid having their own. It just saves them from having to write everything down. And no, the notebook is not necessary. You can just use the textbook and then have just a plain spiral bound notebook to write your thoughts in, but it does make it a little more fun. Then the next thing we're going to do is we are doing Mystery of History Volume 1, and this is actually the second time we would come around to doing this. We did this when my 9-year-old was a lot younger, and we started it and it wasn't quite a good fit, but we are enjoying it this year and it is a very good fit. It is all about ancient history, and it is a full year curriculum. That starts out quarter 1, we're going to talk about the mystery beginning, its creation, early civilizations. Then quarter 2, it calls the mystery expands, and it covers all around the city of Rome. Then it keeps building, and there is more about Confucius and more stories in the Bible, all mixed in with ancient history. And then quarter 4, the mystery is revealed, and we finally reach the time of Christ and his birth and his resurrection, and that's where it ends. In the mystery of history, it is set up so that, I'm going to show you here, it's set up so that you can use it starting in elementary school and revamp it and use it in middle school and revamp it again and use it in high school. So technically you could use this same book 3 times and never get a new curriculum for your child. It has pre-tests, it has short lesson stories you read, it has activities that are both for younger kids and for middle school kids and for older students. Then it also has, in addition to activities, at the end of the week there's review. You'll have a timeline that you can create. It will have mapping activities to do, and it will also have some kind of activity to review. You'll have quizzes every so often and things to review. So there's a lot in this book that will keep us busy all year long. Both Mystery of History and our science this year are by Bright Ideas Press, and we are really looking forward to the Christian Kids Explore Biology this year. This is our first time with this science curriculum, and we are very excited because it is so simple to implement. There are 35 lessons, and you take 2 sessions to complete 1 lesson. Starts out with biology basics like creation and taxonomy and the food web. It goes into the plants, the birds, mammals, human, body parts, reptiles, insects, water creatures. And each unit has beautiful coloring pages if your kids are into that. The way the lesson works is there is a short session to read that has some bolded vocabulary words. It has a key Bible verse that the kids can memorize. It has a chucking it out thing that you can use to kind of reinforce the lesson, as well as a hands-on time, and maybe even a quiz. Often the way it works is you read your lesson and you do the chuck it out section on day 1, and then on the day 2 you would do your hands-on activity or experiment. The other thing I really like about this curriculum is most of the supplies needed to do your experiments are things that you already have in your kitchen. For English, we're returning once again to Rod and Staff English. We've tried other things and just really like this, and I should explain how we use it. First of all, Rod and Staff English is probably very traditional in nature, but it's also very thorough, and it'll have a short lesson that you read as well as some things that you can do with your child. This is written for a small school setting, for like a Mennonite school or an Amish school, and initially, so you'll have some oral skills, and then you will have some written skills, written activities to do. And most of the time, the way that I do this with my daughters is we do everything orally and only write things down if I absolutely need to know that they can figure things out. So most of the time we just sit down, we read this, we talk about it and say, point out where the adverbs are, point out where the nouns are, and we're done in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. If you want to have your child write everything down, it will probably take a lot longer than that, but it can be done very quick and easily. So this is the 3rd grade book, and this is the 5th grade book. Same kind of concept, and Rod and Staff English does a very good job of spiral learning. So each year they will come back and they will hit the same concepts a little bit more, but a little bit deeper. For art this year, one of the things we're going to be using is artistic pursuits, and we're going to be using the K through 3 book 1. And the main reason we're using it is because it has ancient art in it, so it's going to go along great with our Mystery of History. Let me go back to the beginning just so you can kind of see what there is. It talks about what artists do, then it talks about what artists see, and it talks about form and shape and line and color and edges and things like that. Then it talks about where we find art, and this is when it gets into the ancient art area. It talks about art in caves and underground and in pyramids and tombs and roadsides and churches and those kinds of things. There is a simple lesson that talks about art. The next page shows a composition that they can look at and analyze and look at closely. This is one of our favorite pages to look at. We love to look at these and find the answers to all the questions. And then the 3rd page, they give you something to do, a project to work on. Shows you a few of them. It always gives a student sample so that they can get a realistic look of what might be attainable at their age. This is intended for kindergarten through 3rd graders. I actually have a 4th grader this year and a 2nd grader, and we are doing this anyway just because it's a good, light approach to art. For our vocabulary, we are going to be doing English from the roots up this year, which is going to help us with some Greek and Latin. And we're going to take it just a couple words a day. There's a lot of introduction at the beginning, but basically you'll take one vocabulary word or 2 vocabulary words a day and read about it and do some notes and a few activities just to reinforce and help understand what those Greek and Latin words look like. It also comes with, you can also get it with flashcards, which we are also going to be using, going to make it very handy. For math, we are using teaching textbooks, and we are actually using teaching textbooks 3.0 this year, which means that it is online now, which is very handy. It means you don't have to worry about scratched CDs or keeping your CDs for year after year, and the price for an online subscription is very reasonable. I actually have the textbook for Math 4 because my 2nd grade daughter does a lot better with written textbooks when doing math than doing something just online, and I actually happened to have this before the 3.0 came out, so I'm now letting her fill this out, and then she goes on to the 3.0 and types it in. Her favorite thing about teaching textbooks, faculty, both of them, their favorite thing about teaching textbooks are these little characters that they get to choose to be their helpers whenever they're online, and they turn into different things. I'll show you a little bit in the textbook to kind of see what they're like, but each lesson usually has about 21 or 22 lessons. In the textbook, it'll give you a description of what's being learned or taught in that particular lesson. On 3.0, there's actually someone that will come on and give a short lecture that they just have to listen to. Then there's a few practice exercises, and then the 21 or 22 review exercises, reviewing some things that are before and some new things, concepts that have been learned during the lesson. And that is the same throughout all of the lessons. And the last curriculum that I want to share with you today is one that I've already shared on the blog before, but that is the Kingdom Code. And this is just the textbooks from that. There's several other parts to it, including the student sheets and the lesson plan book. But this has been a game changer for us. We love it. My daughter is very excited about working on it every time we come to it. It is a curriculum for entrepreneurs. It teaches money management skills. It teaches money creation skills. It teaches business ethics. It shows how to manage your money and reinvest in your business and so forth. There's key terms to learn, a lot of economics that you could use this for. So anyway, I'm amazed every time I look at this at how colorful the textbook is. It's very engaging, and my daughter loves to look through it. So be sure to look at the full review of the Kingdom Code on my blog so you know more about it. Those are just the taste of the curriculum that we're going to be using this year. We're also doing several things online, which doesn't make for a very good video, but you're welcome to check out the full blog I post where I share all links to all the curriculum we're using this year. I'll be sure to put that in the video description. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful year, and hopefully that gives you a good idea of the curriculum we're using this year in 2nd grade and 4th grade. Hope to see you on cornerstoneconfessions.com.